Hi, my name is Judge James. Welcome to Living for Crits, and it's time for yet another Shadowdark video. Today's it's a big day because I have figured out how to put wait, this way, no, this way. I figured out how to put like stuff into the screen with OBS, and this is probably antiquated or basic, or it's like, wait a second, this is like very basic, how to do recording, and you've been on YouTube for a long time. Doesn't mean anything. I'm lazy and I'm old. I just turned 44 last weekend, and everything behind me is like set up still for my 44th birthday. My wife brought the D&D movie home, like sort of, because we couldn't see it in the theater because it was out of the theaters out here in the Philly area already. So I had asked to see it for my birthday, and the timing didn't quite work. So we all watched it here in my basement, and it was awesome, and I loved it. And anyway, so yeah. But I also, like, not for my birthday, but it took me 44 years to figure out how to put this box right here, which really isn't that hard with OBS once I kind of mess with it. But yeah, I have no excuses now. I guess I can do more. I guess I could do a video on how I use Incarnate for Shadowdark. So if anyone wants to see that, please let me know, and I will bring up some of my Incarnate maps that I put together. I think they're pretty cool. I enjoy them. I share them. People seem to like them. So my players like them. That's most important. But today, what I wanted to do was do a video that focuses on character creation. And first off, it's easy. That's not going to be the big part, is how to do the character creation, but more or less how to flesh out in your own mind as a player, a character backstory from a randomly generated character with just some basic stats. I think that's one of the challenges when you're bringing players over to a game like Shadowdark or something like Old School Essentials or basic D&D, Red Box, or even in some ways even some 80 and 80 second edition, is a lot of the contemporary games like Fantasy Age and Savage Worlds and D&D 5th edition and 3rd edition and 4th edition. Obviously, you have a lot you can put on top of your character outside of stats. You roll your stats, or you choose your stats if you're using that system, and bit bam boom, you've now have your core mechanics, but you can add edges and feats and hindrances and flaws and all skills and all kinds of stuff that take the focus away from the stats and how the stats describe your character. So what I wanted to do with this video is we're going to generate using this. This is shadowdarklings.net, and I do want to share. This is so if you're on the Discord server for Shadowdark, the Arcane Library Discord server, you'll see SWooNe on there quite a lot, posting updates for what is just a phenomenal resources. As someone who comes from the Dungeon Crawl Classics universe, like, SWooNe is quickly becoming the purple sorcerer of Shadowdark, in my opinion. Someone who's just out there creating great content for us GMs. I've used this. Oh crap! Let me get this here. I have a whole ton of pre-gens together, printed and ready to roll. And several of them I've used this software to create, and I was going to share them, and now I can't find them. But I promise you, I've used this software to create some of the pre-gens. I'm looking at a whole stack of the ones here that are the ones you get with the Kickstarter. So ignore these. Just know that yes, I have made pre-gens using this, and here they are. Look at that. There's two of them. I made a Goblin Ranger, and I made a Human Ranger with this, so we can have Rangers as pre-gens. So anyway, this has been a great system for me, and then a couple of our player characters in our Friday night game we generated with shadowdarklings.net, two of the adult players that jumped in. So if you see SWooNe online, make sure you say hi, and that if you like this his program, make sure you tell him that. But more importantly, you can do buy me a coffee here, and you click the button there, and it takes you to the whole how to buy a coffee form, support them. So please do that. Please please give him some money so that he'll continue to make content and feel bolstered and everything. So it tells you how to chase him down too. So you know you know where to find him. But we're gonna take and make a character, and again, that part's easy. What I think will be fun, hopefully, or maybe informative to you folks who are coming to old school style gaming for the first time, is looking at how you can generate a backstory off of just some clicks, and come up and use those, you know, the positives and the negatives to build something that you can come to the table with feeling like you have a fully fleshed out character, even though it only took 5-10 minutes to roll. Okay, those of you that have been playing these types of games for a long time, this might not be the most useful for you, but you know, this is a video I wanted to do today, and it's the video that I figured out how to use OBS correctly. So you're stuck watching it, I guess, or you can turn it off. There actually is no requirement for this. All right, I mean, I can't make you watch my video. Not a lot of people watch my videos anyway. The initial inspiration for me putting this together, though, is out of this book here. This is my busted as old heck AD&D second edition player's handbook, circa 1991-92. I think it was 92. It was the year after Robin Hood Prince of Thieves came out, because Prince of Thieves came out this summer. I was really hot into like the red box D&D. The year after that, I started getting AD&D second edition stuff. And on page 18, it goes into the build of a character named Wrath, who I think is a dwarf, with stats of 8 strength, 14 dex, 13 con, 13 intelligence, 7 wisdom, and 6 charisma. And it goes through how these stats can be reflected in gameplay, and roleplay especially, to help build the character. Talk about how the character is in good health with a good constitution, but not strong because he's just plain lazy. Now, in another game, you might pick flaw, lazy, but this is telling you how you can do that with just the stats. Just how an 8 strength / 13 con, how do you perceive that? How do you perceive an intelligence of 13 and coupled with a charisma of 6 and a wisdom of 7? It goes into, you know, it's a result of lack of contact and involvement with people outside the realm of academics. A character who's a kindly, naive, and shy professorial type who's a good tinkerer, always fiddling with new ideas and inventions. I remember reading this, and at the time, I didn't have all of these other systems in play, all these other games that gave me other ways to expand upon a character. With Shadowdark, it's kind of reminding me of those roots, and we're going to do this. We're going to make a character here, and I'm going to try to ad-lib a backstory for this character. I tried doing this yesterday, and I had an issue with the video, so which is probably good, because I clicked that create a character, and it spat out the best friggin' character ever. And I was hoping for something with some flaws that just didn't seem like, you know, John Wick or something. That's not what I got. So I'm kind of glad that video got messed up. But all right, here we go. So when you, I guess, directions on how to use shadowdarklinks.net, you hit create a character, and you got some options here. You can do minimal details or enable third-party content. Third-party resources on there right now looks like Shadowduck and Shadowbark. So I expect that this will, I hope this will get expanded as time goes on, but for right now, that's what's in here. And if you hit design, you can do a completely random character. So just full random, boom. Ister, elf priest. I mean, this character with a wisdom of, actually, that's not a bad elf priest. That's not bad at all. You can use that system if you want to really spit out a character quickly. We're not going to do that. We're going to go slower. But if you're trying to throw a bunch of characters on the table and, you know, print, you can do that. We're going to design. So, all right. So we're going to roll a background first. All right. This character is a mercenary. You know, I'm reading some Michael Stackpole stuff for Battletech, so I'm reading about the Kellhounds right now. They're mercenaries, and maybe I'll use all that in my head in a second. I'm going to roll for stats, and let's see here. All right, well, as you know, though, those of you that play Shadowdark, if you don't get a stat higher than a 14 in one stat, you can re-roll the set. This these stats 11, 11, 8, 10, 4, 12, with the highest stat being charisma. Well, the bard's not out yet, so I think I'm gonna opt for the reroll. And here we go. I think we hit. Wow, this is going to be interesting. This is probably one of the most, this is the two of the stats that don't, I think, necessarily feed the most into one of the 4 character types, or Constitution and Charisma right now. Charisma is very useful for anyone who's going to be the face of the party, or I think for thieves. Our Goblin Thief in our game, Linther, played by Liz at our table, she is a full-on charisma-based thief, so much so that she's gonna, I think, take the bard class. I'm allowing her to take the bard class when that releases if she wants. She's like an 18 charisma. This is cool, though. This means we're gonna have to really think about this here. So a character with a strength of 5, so fairly weak, isn't going to be a -3 penalty to, I guess, to attack with melee weapons. A dex of 13, they're going to have to stay in the back. A con of 17. This guy is, or gal, this person is a brute when it comes to hit points. Just, no issue there, but kind of a little dopey. Intelligence of 9. I'm not one of those folks that subscribe to the whole thing that an intelligence of 3 is unplayable. I think that if you think about it with the way stats work, an intelligence of 3 just means that you're going to have a -4 penalty to doing something, which still means you can still get a decent roll. So intelligence of 9 just means slightly below average in the book smarts, but a wisdom of 14, shows you've got that soul, you've got that ability for empathy. You're going to pick up on things just from your natural talent, your common sense. And a 16 charisma, wow, you could be a face, but you might not say the right things. So we're looking at a character I really like how Shadow Darklings will give you what it thinks percentage-wise you should be. So 54% priest, 39% thief, 7% ranger. Priest, thief, or ranger. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go for thief. I would love this character as a thief. I don't think thief, and maybe we'll get something that gives our dex a boost here in a second when we roll a talent. So we're going to go with thief. And the con is +3. I'm trying to, what kind of thief? You know what? Let's do something a little different. Thieves are always going to be, dealing with getting hit by traps and falling down, flights of stairs because they're the ones out in front trying to search things. How do we make a thief that's the beefiest thief ever? I think we got to go with dwarf. So we're going to have a dwarf thief here, which means we're going to get those extra bonus hit points and essentially rolling hit points with advantage. And so many thief builds are built on the most dexterous or stealthy thief. We're going to build a thief here who is the best at when a trap goes off, they are going to be fine. And they can do a good job, I guess, hawking they're pawning off whatever they've stolen because their charisma is a 16. But they're a mercenary. So how do they become a mercenary? Well, I mean, you know what? With a strength of 5, they probably spent way too much time in a charisma of 16. They probably could deal with the runs, the long distance runs, and the training with the con of 17. But all of that strength training, this dwarf, he was gambling. That's what he was doing. So he just slacked off so much on that part that he bulked up a bit, but he didn't bulk up any arm muscle. He's not going to be great at he ain't doing any pull-ups, So in my head, as someone who is of this slightly larger bodily proportions, I think Sky, he's carrying around a little extra weight he probably has to lose, maybe like I do. And we're gonna say thief. So far I like this character because it's an unusual thief build, and we could have gone priest, but no. Roll for thief talent. All right, it's going to give us +2 to strength, dex, or charisma. I'm gonna go with dex. I do want to see the dex come up a bit. I do want to have the ability. We're going to do something in combat, and he's not going to be running around with a mace or a hammer or a. Well, I guess you don't have as a thief anyway. He's not going to have the short sword doing melee combat, and then hit points. And all right, look at that. It's a first level thief with 9 hit points. That's freaking awesome. So he's going to have the extra bonus of 2 hit points plus 3 hit points for his con. I rolled a 4. Um, so yeah, this thief is probably going to have more hit points than most of the party members, except for the fighter. Which that's in party makeup. That means that if need be, if someone's going to plug the hole because there's like goblins coming after you, or I don't want to say goblins because goblins are a playable class now, right? If there are skeletons coming down the hallway, you've got this guy could show up and plug that gap for a little bit. All right, so golden gear. So think about it this way. When it comes to gold, you max out at what, 60 gold pieces, I believe, and that's the most you can have. There's don't skip past golden gear when you're coming up with your character's backstory. Okay, so think about it. If you roll poorly and have 15 gold, that's not. Don't think of it so much as your character's hosed. How can you make that your backstory? If I was a mercenary with the 15 gold pieces, I would say that everything everything he owned was taken off and was stolen. He was beaten out of his mercenary unit. But on the flip side, 45 gold, pretty good starting gold right now. This goes right into the fact that this dwarf thief, he just gambled his way around. What's the game? Wizards and Thieves. I'm trying to now. I'm freaking out. What the game? The game that's like the base. That's like the gambling game in Shadowdark. I'm gonna this is gonna drive me crazy. But I don't have my Shadowdark books. It's on a PDF format. So that game, or like Three Dragon Ante or something like that, or Dice Poker if you're thinking Witcher. Those games. Rat Snake if you're thinking Lankmar. He plays all of them. He's like the expert gambler. So, and it's all about, and I'm thinking about this now with the 9 intelligence, the 14 wisdom, and the 16 charisma. It's just by feel. Like, I would say that this is the character that really is winning it through. He's not playing the game intellectually as much as he's just winning it through luck. He just happens to find his way through fortune because he's using his wisdom. He's like just it's his gut. He's working with his gut feel. Rather than his knowledge per se. And then 45 gold, he made some money. So he made it out okay. So why not add a crawler kit? Oh, I know why not. Wait a second. I already bought it. Too late. Crap. That takes up so many slots. I didn't even think about that. Can I sell those? Let's do that. Let's sell these because we got to think for a second. This is the problem with a character that's got a strength of 5 is you're going to be limited to how many slots you have. I don't want a crawler kit. I'm going to be a little more careful. We're going to go with a backpack because, we want to have, make sure he can carry stuff. And you know what? We're going to want a couple torches. So let's take those. And we're going to want flint and steel. And I'm not going to take rope. I'm going to hope someone else has rope in the party. But since this character is like the professional trap setter offer, I feel like he's going to want to have a pole with him. And just have that there. And then on the flip side, I think that given that some of those traps might be an alarm, I want a bag of caltrops. I want something that he could chuck behind himself when the party's being chased to cause trouble. And because we're going to take one, I'm going to go ahead and take arrows because under weapons, we're going to take a short bow and we're going to take... I'm going to add a dagger to this just because I want to have one melee weapon, maybe a second dagger. No, you know what? One dagger's fine. And then armor, we're going to go with some leather armor. I definitely can't afford mithril chainmail. So, and we have a lot of money left. So, which is great when you're playing in Shadowdark. That beginning cash you have, just start saving it now for carousing. That's how you're gonna add to your leveling up, right? Is by carousing. Folks new to Shadowdark, that's one of the mechanics in the game is that after an adventure, you take your money as a party, you pull it, you throw the biggest party you can possibly have, and after that party, you're gonna get extra experience points. So I would say that with the short bow and arrows, just looking at how can your gear and gold be used for your character backstory. Well, I mean, this character made it as a mercenary, so he was probably a dwarf archer that was in the back ranks. That he was out there with like those archers behind Ramsay Bolton. He's like in Game of Thrones, one of those nameless folks that just out there chucking arrows down range, and when he's not shooting arrows at people, he is gambling his butt off and making money back. He probably I don't know how much a fighter would make, a professional fighter, professional mercenary in Shadowdark. Probably a few gold pieces a month. Well, he has several months of gold from several other folks. Name, we'll see what, you know what? No, we're not going to do that. We're going to go with Wrath, because that is the name out of this book of this character. I think Wrath is being brought back. Alignment, I'm gonna go with neutral. I think Wrath follows the laws when they suit him, but doesn't need to. And then Deity, I'm not gonna pick any. No, I'm not gonna pick any. I'm gonna say that he hasn't. I'm gonna make that a feature of this character. This character, atheist, does not believe in the gods. Probably, you know what? He would be a good priest. That earlier it said how the character could have fit as a priest. No, he thought about it, and that's what maybe his parents wanted him to do. Be that was the plan. He had the inclination for that with the 14 wisdom, but with the 9 intelligence, could not handle the book learning. That would have been a great if his background had been scholar, that would have really fit that well too. Although I love the gambling aspect of this character. The character, made his way as a mercenary by just, by the luck of the dice. And the dice got pretty lucky with a 17 con and a 16 charisma. So final stats end up being strength 5, dex 15, con 17, intelligence 9, 14 wisdom, and 13 charisma. And if I hit PDF, so high legibility, I have a hard time with the scribbly PDFs. So high legibility, and will this boot right here? It will. There we go. Okay, here's Wrath. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna print Wrath, I think, because I love this character already. I'm not even playing, but I love this character. I love the fact that so title robber, and there we go, 9 hit points for a first level dwarf. That's a first level dwarf thief. That's pretty incredible. So there you have it. So that's just how, like, if I'm building a character, notice this is a game where there's no edges, there's no feats, there's no hindrances, but we know that this character's stats can tell that story, and coupled with the background, and just the basics from the class and the money you got, I would be coming to the table not with this sheet don't think of it as some empty sheet, some basic sheet with just 6 stats and a few other fiddly bits attached to it. Think of it as you can use everything on this sheet to tell who your character was. Because I know I'm not a very good player, okay? I play once a week in a Shadow the Demon Lord campaign, and I have a hard time sometimes connecting to my character. And that's a fully fleshed out character, because I'm used to being like, always the GM, the forever GM. I'm working on that. But if you're a new player and you're trying to connect and you print this out, there is so much more than just I'm a dwarf thief, I'm a human fighter. There's all kinds of details you can come out of this. So when you get to that table, when you sit down for your very first Shadowdark game with that character, or your 10th Shadowdark game because your last character died, you can extrapolate a whole history of this character's backstory from these roles, and then have those motivations. And that short bow, that's not just a short bow that this character has on their sheet. That is the short bow that this character was assigned as a mercenary. He probably has notches in that short bow of how many kills he has. The dagger he has, that could have been a gift he took with him before he went off to Mercenary Academy. It's like Police Academy, but like less, what's his name? Is it Steve? Crap, what was the guy's name in Police Academy? Not Jeff Goldblum. I'm wait a second. I'll have to figure. I can't believe that, like, I freeze up in Police Academy. I'm gonna get beaten up in the comments below. I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna just hit me with it with the comments on that. So anyway, I hope this is a shorter video. It's 24 minutes. I try to make this shorter, I swear to you, but it is what it is. So So we'll just go from here. If you enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments below. And now that I know how to do these screens, if someone wants to see a video about like Incarnate, I'd be happy to do something with that and to build some map stuff there and show how to use that. Again, as I said in the last video, I've been so inspired to do more Shadowdark content, and I've just gotten really energized by it. So so we're gonna say that. I'm actually gonna do this. I think I can do window capture off. I'm gonna expand this a little bit here. Can I do that? Yep. And I'm gonna just type in here Police Academy. Who was it? Steve Gutenberg. Oh my God. How did I miss that? I was gonna say Steve Goldblum. I have so much shame right now. So I guess I'll end this the public apology to Steve Gutenberg for not, you know, for not taking this seriously. And if Mr. Gutenberg ever wants to play Shadowdark, there's a seat at my table, and you get to start with a 6th level character. All right. So, all right. With that, everyone have a great day and a great evening, and I will see you all later.